Yep.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
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 Welcome back to another week of Tumbleweeds and Tombstones, the game where each week my players try to accuse me of trying to kill them, and I have to remind them that they're already dead and remind myself what the tagline is.
Hey, you're almost succeeding quite a bit.
I know. Anyway,
no one roots for the GM. He's the unsung hero. He never gets to win.
right? You know, why am I such a misfit? But we are back for another week, another game. God, what episode are we on now?
97.
97, 3 away from the big 100.
Triple digits, yo. I didn't think it was possible.
I gotta say, I mean, we stuck together through COVID. We stuck together through a lot of things. I almost wish we had recordings all the way back from session 1, just so that way we could do a best of reels.
But you know what? We had 3 weddings ever since we started.
Yeah.
Because first Lyman, then me and David, and then you and Miranda.
Yeah,
A lot of weddings.
There's been a lot of things going on. So
Jeff, you're next. Alrighty then.
Oh, I think Jeff was frozen. Right.
No, it's just, Jeff stands so still that he looks frozen half the time.
You're not.
He's pulling the Guardians of the Galaxy move of saying
Exactly.
Just Draxing it.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into tonight's recap, unless anyone else has anything witty to say.
Boogers.
No, okay. So, when last you got together, the Obsidian Spurs were steadily making their way towards the encampment of the Lupines, now under the control of Ichitai, the son of the late chief, who either personally murdered or set up a coup to have his father murdered, his eyes removed, and the deed blamed on you all. Being ancestral enemies to Lupines, it was easy for many of the rest of the tribe to agree that vampires would do something like this. And you are going forward to try and cut the head off the snake, destroy the war band of Lupines that have gathered to wipe out your kind from the land, including the Elder, which that alone wouldn't be a bad thing if it didn't mean taking all of you guys out with them. You are being led by Pita, the illegitimate son of the chieftain, who you have struck a bargain with to have him lead you to the heart of the village in return for giving him time to get anyone who would be willing to listen to him out of there so they don't get caught in the crosshairs of the conflict. There are many different trials and tests, many of which Pita had heard rumors of, but having been before this a accepted member of the tribe, they had never really been sprung in his time, being somewhat young himself, and he didn't really know which ones were legend, which ones were truth, and was oftentimes just as surprised as you guys. In the most recent one, the Cries of the Brother, you were in a dark part of a somewhat slumbering forest, given that it is the dead of winter, heavy on the dead, as you found that this site was the location of an ancient battle between different factions of Lupine, and many dead had been left behind. Feeling almost a supernatural darkness where light was not penetrating the area, your carriage was stopped. After some investigation and some horticulture with a sharpened shovel, you realize that the trees themselves seem to have gnarled faces and were moving in a aggressive manner, and these dead-looking shades on the outskirts of the lanterns you guys had lit, invisible from the waist down and eyeless, just staring and moaning, reaching towards the light. You guys broke into combat, some of you trying to engage these shades as they moved closer, only to find that unless you had weapons that had been touched with some supernatural gift. They did some damage, but it was very hard to make physical purchase on a only semi-corporeal being.
Enchantment.
Walter, being the ever curious one, thought it would be a good idea to see what would happen if he stuck his hand in the chest of one, noticing that before this, they seem to ignore you guys, almost blind to your existence. Feeling the energy and somewhat bit of life force a kindred can carry being sucked from you and them becoming more corporeal in the process, you quickly learn that these were a no-touchy kind of situation. As you worked to free the carriage, trying to avoid it taking some damage, and continued fighting onward. Liam, through some quick thinking and some observation, realized that what they were attracted to was heat, whether it be the heat of the carriage lanterns, whether it be the heat of living beings such as the horses or the ghouls and Henry, and were drawn to these, trying to suck what little life force they could get to make themselves feel more corporeal and alive. Atris decided to take Liam's suggestion and throw one of the lanterns towards the back of the carriage, distracting the one, after you had done battle, the one left of these shades who had drained enough life force from PETA, who had done combat with it to try and give you guys a way to escape, and become, at least temporarily, it seemed fully corporeal. Mouthwords.
Capricorn.
Yes, fully corporeal with frostbitten black talons on its hands and feet, and it moving in a much quicker pace. You left the trees, left the area, left the blood-soaked snow, going deeper into the woods and escaping the peril for the time being, following the light in the darkness that seemed to come off of the crimson glow of whatever it was that was seeping out of the ground. You decide to assess the situation and realize that most of you are pretty hurt, some of you having to heal severe damage that is impeding your ability to do what you need to do. Very much needing to feed, but being out in the middle of nowhere. Your group questioned PETA to ask if there was anywhere nearby that they could feed, try and heal up. And he thought for a moment, first refusing, saying that he's willing to help you find animals to hunt, but wouldn't help you in the killing of innocents, which led him to then think about that, I guess, somewhat nearby. There is a outpost of the U.S. Cavalry who have been sent by the U.S. government, seemingly unaware of the group of natives being lupine, but the fact that simply that they are a group of indigenous people and the U.S. government currently being in conflict with Comanche is enough to set up this outpost and trying to gather intel, take out their numbers, and also seems to be a location for a horse-based postal system, perhaps carrying important missives. PETA did warn you, however, that the place is a military establishment, so it would be guarded, and is out of the way, the forest offering a natural protection as even his people are afraid to traverse this path. So you weighed your pros and cons and decided to add more time to the trip, see if you could take this fort, and in doing so have not only a great food supply, perhaps a defensible shelter, and going out from a place of strength towards the Lupine village in the last leg of the journey. And that is where we left off. So that's where we're going to jump into tonight's episode of Tumbleweeds and Tombstones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we bedded down for the day at the end, right?
Yes,
Okay.
you had decided to bed down here in the woods, again, taking advantage of the fact that most of the lupines would be too nervous to want to even traverse this place. You figured it would be a pretty good place to set up camp and bed down for the dawn.
And you know, we may have technically conquered it when they didn't, so they may be a little jealous. I don't know. I doubt it, but
So I need Chad, I need you to go ahead and roll for Weya's nightmares.
Oh yes. All right. Oh yeah, I succeed. That's like 4+ right there. 4+.
Okay, then yeah, you are fine. The day goes uneventful. All of you gain back a willpower point for having a full night's rest if you need one.
I did.
Now you all wake up, spend a blood. So mark that down.
I have a question because I've never tried to use it in this fashion.
Yes.
Does okay? I know Mask of a Thousand Faces. You can look like someone else. You can alter your appearance slightly. Can you do okay? Essentially, I'm wondering, can you do movie makeup? Like, you know, could you make yourself look like you were bloodied and things like that?
Yes, actually. I mean, with enough successes, as it even says by the book, you look however, with enough successes, you look however you want to look. You're still the same size, more or less. With a ton of successes, you can kind of at least change humanoid physicality. So you could be a little bit taller, a little bit shorter, fatter, skinnier, muscular. But like you can't, it's not like a full image change. You're not coming out looking like a lizard man or anything like that.
But if I wanted to come out looking like I was in a bloody battle, like, you know.
Correct. That is definitely something within the realm of possibility for that ability with enough successes, of course. Does anyone, I do need to ask this, does anyone choose to spend a blood point for Blush of Health?
Oh, this moment.
Okay. Well, is anyone below half on blood?
no, Atris is slightly above half, since it is an odd number.
Okay. You all start to exit the carriage. Asmodeus, all right, let's go ahead and get this firecracker lit. And you all start to clown car-esque pour out of the sunproof carriage.
I just slug myself out of the door, upside down onto the ground, and just lazily half-ass cartwheel until my ass like falls over my head, and I like roll out.
With the same dignity and grace as normal, Walter.
Well, I sort of see men fall in bed like that.
So as you guys come out of the carriage, I will say, Liam, I'm going to let you roll for Bartleby. Chad, you're rolling for Sonoy. This is going to be, if they have it, it's going to be a Dex Athletics or Dex Survival, either one.
Wow. Six successes.
Okay. 2 successes. All right. And then let's see.
Bring it back.
Okay. So that's 10 total successes from the hunting party. So let's see. That's going to be 3 deer, 5 rabbits, and yeah, I'll say 3 deer and 5 rabbits, or we'll make it even, 6 rabbits.
Wow.
Like he was deep-throating it. Just when they can't feel things,
So to give you guys a reminder of how much
Oh.
blood that is to split among those who can eat it. Sorry, Atris. Where are you, animals? Here we go. So the rabbits are each worth a 1/4 blood point. I'll say without many successes, I'll go ahead and with that bump it up to 8. So if let's see,
So it's like,
that's like 2
like
blood
two-
points.
Yeah, 2
That's
blood
2
points.
blood points if you want to eat 8 rabbits. And
Jesus Christ.
and
Snap
the
into a jackrabbit.
right and the 3 deer are worth 9. So you have a total of 11 blood points to pull from. As you see the dead bodies just kind of piled a little bit in like 5 feet in front of the carriage, and off to the distance you see the light of what looks like a campfire as the ghouls and humans are all staying around that for warmth currently.
Question real quick.
Yes.
How bad would my appearance look with 2 ag?
Yeah, I have the same question with 3 ag.
I had 3. Now I have 2.
Okay. Well, 1 without blush of health, you're a corpse pale.
I spent for blush of health, so I spent for that.
Oh, okay. I mean, at that point you are injured. So to give you an idea, if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the number of health levels in this game you have. So if you're down 2, I'd say there's probably a couple of really bad gashes that you have.
Yeah.
If you bandage them, it might be enough to like cover it up, especially since you're not actively bleeding, because vampires don't do that.
Yeah.
So with the right kind of bandaging up, you might be able to cover that, especially since the wounds were mostly on your torso, not like on your face.
Yeah.
So with the right amount of bandaging, it's not like there's an arm missing that you're trying to like regrow or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have 3 ag, which is not just hurt, it's injured, it says.
Let's see, I'm trying to
Where's my
remember.
duster?
Do you remember off the top of your head where those injuries were?
I think we sort of retroactively decided, you decided that it had been collarbone area.
Okay.
I mean, it was from those skeletal werewolf that
Okay,
first
so
it
yeah,
walked
like-
up. It walked up and just immediately did 3 ag to me when that
Yeah.
started.
And that was with its teeth.
Whatever it has that does ag, which I believe were its claws, but I don't
Right.
really remember.
So yeah, that would definitely be across the chest, because them swinging down at you.
And I'm like shorter than them.
Yeah.
Weird experience for Walter.
Again, I would say, especially with maybe a proper medicine check, you could probably bandage yourself up in such a way that like it would look like you're hurt, and you might have to act it. But how are they to know what's under there, kind of thing? Unless you have a Mulan moment and they have a reason to look under your bandages, then they might start seeing some very deep gashes that would not make sense that you're not bleeding out.
So
Well, with that sorted out, let's get down to business.
So I have a proposal of how we can get in.
Familiars.
Once the animals are taken care of, if there's any residual blood left over, we could, somewhat dress the two of your wounds with blood. And we kind of use that as a way of seeking help to get into this outpost. We do have, of course, Walter being a deputy marshal who would be in pain. Atris can secure her own venue in.
You want to do cry help?
I can also, if we want to
Get
go
help.
by like, we got things to barter. I can skin the deer and have maybe furs to barter to be let in. That would
You think
definitely
after
help.
we, yeah,
Well,
you
we do
think
it
after we drain
before.
these
We'd probably do
deer,
it beforehand. I mean,
probably.
do we need all the resource? Are we all good? I just need to be topped off. So I can just
gonna-
handle the rabbits and be okay.
Because
Gonna
human is
Need
more
a
for-
little bit of one of these deers.
I know myself, like outside of what we have here, I'm going to need at least 2 humans to at least replenish, and I don't know how much we're going to be spending.
Real quick DM question or
Yes.
storyteller, whatever. If I were to skin the deer before we drain them, would we lose blood output from that?
Yes.
And how much? Or is
I
that
mean,
question mark?
It's
Is
hard
that
to tell.
certainly show?
Like as it is, I'm already kind of giving you guys a pass on the fact that these animals have already been dead for X amount of time, and normally speaking, like there would be
Remind me to get on Bartleby about that.
right. There's going to be some blood loss from there.
Mhm.
However, I'm also kind of just being kind of nice and letting you guys use that as a blood source.
Nice. What do you mean? It's preserved in nature's icebox.
The snow.
It's actually an interesting thing when you play in games set in later times when they've actually figured out a way to like store blood and actually keep it.
Blood bags and shit.
Well, not just that, but also like there's a certain supernatural quality that just like blood that isn't
Preserves.
fresh blood loses a lot of its nutritional value to vampires.
Wow.
So it's why it is closely guarded secrets that the Tremere and the followers of Set have of that thing that Liam has. That's that vial that keeps stuff, whatever's in there fresh. That's closely guarded magic among kindred, because that's a huge advantage to basically be able to carry around blood packs that are actually useful.
So on second
First-
thought, we would lose resource on the deer if I were to skin it. So
Just
that might not be the
Wait
best
till
thing.
we're done. You
Okay.
think?
All right.
Do you think after we drain these
I'm sure that'd be all.
animals that
It would be. I could try.
Wait, I make a wits plus survival roll.
All right.
Standard.
Turkey.
Yeah. Survival is the good part of this, guys. Oh, that's not good, sir.
it
That is
started
a-
out with such promise?
That is a 0.
Oof.
I guess maybe that would work out, Walter.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
say
sure.
that it's actually never really come up that you never really skinned a deer after desanguinating it, so you're not quite sure how that's going to work. You honestly don't know. Like you, in your time,
Yeah.
skinned many an animal, but you never were worried about like draining it of every drop of liquid inside of it before you tried. You didn't turn it into jerky before you tried to skin it.
I could certainly try, Walter. Other than that, I've never done it before.
Try what? I was just gonna ask you. You think after we drain like a deer, you think like Bartleby and them's ever just make jerky out of it?
I mean,
it tastes good,
I'd
though?
imagine there's still meat left if there's no blood to be real lean, but
Like we're kind of helping them out, right?
yeah. As I take one of the rabbits and like, just start drinking some of the rabbit.
I'm
Cool,
just
you
gonna
get
pick up
quarter of blood
a
point.
deer carcass and do the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are we dividing this up? You guys
Alright.
got 11 blood points. To,
I'm taking the rabbits for 2 blood points.
Okay.
You guys can figure out the deer. I
you
figured
guys just
that'll be
sit
a lot
there
easier.
like the most grotesque frat bro ever kind of thing, just sitting there shotgunning rabbits.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
I'm just glad you're not smashing them against your forehead before you do it or after.
No, they're not alive. I wouldn't do that.
This is how the jackalope went extinct.
Right?
Vampires.
Just just sitting there draining these rabbits.
Chug,
left and
chug,
right.
chug,
And
chug.
what I'll do is I'll take. Oh fuck. Nah, I'm ingesting the 2 blood points. I'm at maximum. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna lift a deer off the ground because I don't really feel like stooping down. I'm just gonna drain
okay.
it
Make a
while
strength
standing.
check for me, please.
Sure.
Let's see. I mean, it's definitely possible, but I want to see if you did lift this deer.
Want to see how possible.
While he does that,
It's too bad that my specialty doesn't apply here because that's 3 10s.
I'm gonna say chug, 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 chug.
It's, by the way, it's 3 10s and 3 9s so far and a 7.
Oh,
Okay.
dear God.
And
Another
as Waya,
10.
but as Waya is yelling chug chug, I'm just gonna look at him going, is that one of your brothers I don't know?
That's wow. That's what?
And
Wow.
then
That's eight
just
successes.
to spite him, I'm gonna switch the Cherokee and say the chug word in Cherokee. So
Yeah,
nobody
yes.
can understand.
Okay. And Walter, what is your strength unpumped?
I mean, I got 8 successes and
Right,
I rolled
right.
8
I know.
dice because I have, I'm answering your question. And
Yeah.
I rolled 8 dice because I have strength plus potence. And so the answer is kind of 8 both ways,
Okay.
but my default strength without taking potence into account is 4.
Okay. So yeah. With and then how many dots of potence do you have?
4.
Yeah. No problem. You don't even flinch. Like this is like lifting a bag of dog food. Like it is not a difficult thing to do. And you're just sitting there and you make a cut and you just start sitting there drinking. Now I will say it's gonna take you the better part of you're doing this for like 10-15 minutes because while it only gives 3 blood points, it's kind of like Patrick with that cow way back when. It's one of those things of while it only gives you 3 blood points, it's still gallons of blood that you're sitting here like draining out of this Kool-Aid pack.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna attempt to skin the rabbits that I desanguinated.
Okay.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Would this be survival or craft?
I'm not making anything out of it, so I figured.
But there is a certain art to making a pelt.
True.
And it's not just sitting there and hacking. If you don't want to completely wreck the fur, there's a certain art to it.
I'll do it with my Bowie knife, not my tomahawks.
Yeah, I figured.
I will
would've made
watch
the
all of this
difficulty-
occur.
I would have made the difficulty as it is, even with a Bowie knife. A jackrabbit's about yay big, and your blade's almost as long as its body. So this is definitely not a finesse tool.
It's sad because I know what a Bowie knife is, but every time I hear it, I just think about handle and then lightning bolt blade.
David Bowie knife.
David Bowie knife.
That's the Aladdin knife.
All right, I will let you do it with. This is going to be Dex plus survival. This is a survival technique.
Yes.
Difficulty is going to be 7 though, because this is not the kind of knife you would normally use to skin a rabbit.
Oh, okay. This is good though, guys. 4 successes.
You're able to it is difficult. The skin is now a lot more dry than it normally is, so the chance of it ripping is much higher. I will say you got 4 successes.
Yeah.
You got a decent pelt out of it. It's not perfect. There's definitely some bits that you left behind, but it's a decent rabbit pelt.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Thank you,
Anyone else
Walter.
going for the other? Because this is going to get Walter. Are you planning on taking the whole deer?
I'm gonna give myself a blush of health actually off of it. I'm drain this deer.
All right, so then that's spending 1 and then you get 2 in the bank.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
Anyone else going for deer?
Yes.
I know,
Yes.
Atris, you needed
Yes.
blood, right? You
Okay,
finished the
but
rest.
Atris can't get anything from animals.
Oh,
Well, let's let Atris answer Wea's question.
Humans, please.
humans, got it. Well, does anyone else can
I'm gonna
consume
grab
this?
one of the deers.
Oh, please.
All right, go for it.
And while he does that, I will try to skin Walter's desanguinated deer.
Okay. All right. Difficulty is 7 still.
Same
Yep.
thing.
Mhm.
Okay. That's a. Oh wait, I have a 10. That is a 0.
You try, and with one, it's a thicker hide, but it's dry. So again, normally the blood and the moisture in the body actually helps with the blade. Once you get it in and under, it's trying to carve an animal that's like been out in the sun for multiple days, and bits of the flesh just rip off, and there's just you try multiple times and you just feel like there is no salvaging this pelt. Like, this is just not gonna work.
Yeah, that didn't work out as well as I hoped.
As you just kind of like mutilate the carcass.
I just kind of like flip it over.
Trying to make a patchwork?
Well, it was supposed to be a pelt, but it didn't really work out the way I wanted it to.
I mean, you could at least get a belt out of it.
No, I was
Maybe
gonna say,
an eye patch.
well, I'm not even going to make you roll for this, but given your background, you do know that pretty much every part of the animal could be used for something. The bones, the hooves, if you want to take your time to sit there and, chop up this deer or the other ones, even though the pelt is ruined, there's still other parts of the animal that have, I mean, at least to your history and your people, there would be parts that could be useful. How you do know that the average white guy is going to be more interested in the pelt more than or the meat.
I'm actually gonna walk up to Liam and like kind of whisper to him, be like, did you need bones for that thing we were talking about to like put it together?
I got the antlers from that last buck the other night, and I know you said that would help. If we're going to the outpost and they care for horses, they may have a good amount of leather straps. Would that be helpful in us putting this together?
Leather straps would definitely help putting a weapon together.
Okay, so I think between the buck's antlers that we have, I would have enough to forge 2 daggers.
What I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna try to take while hopefully Noah is devouring the other deer. Can I just try and take some like tough sinew from the deer?
Yeah, go ahead and make a dex plus I'm gonna say medicine roll on this one.
Okay, I have that.
This is more of knowing where to cut, what's useful, what's not.
I'll rip that die.
Are you fashioning violin strings?
4 successes on that one.
You are able to get some sinew out of the
Maybe
deer.
maybe he wants to accompany your harmonica.
Finally, the band is growing.
Yeah, I'll take the sinew and like band it up and put it in like a bag or a leather pouch in my container or such.
You guys spend the better part of a half an hour between. Now, do you go for the other deer? Because I'll just make you make a generic roll. I'm not going to make you roll for every single animal, but like as you guys go through them, or there's still 1 deer left. Who is anyone taking that last deer?
Well, I know Noah's draining it.
Well,
No, there's a third deer.
Oh, there's a third
Noah
deer.
just got 3 blood points.
Do we need more blood, or can I chop this up for maybe
Or
some
does
meat?
Asmodeus need blood?
I'll look at the creepy guy and be like, "Hey, do you need refreshment?"
Yeah, I guess when there's nothing else. And Asmodeus will go ahead and drink.
Okay, cool.
I guess when it comes to Asmodeus, the buck stops here.
You take one ag. As like not even looking at you, he just pulls a gun and shoots you while he's
Yeah, no look pistol shot mid drink.
Okay. So do you want to try and recover anything else from these animals? Or
Well, if I have downtime while Asmodeus is drinking, I will. I just don't want to like ruin the time that we have.
I mean, it's gonna take time to sit
Okay,
there and
one is fine. One is
Okay.
good. I'm done.
So you have one passable pelt and some sinew. Rabbit pelt and some sinew and deer sinew.
Deer sinew, got it.
While this is all happening, Bartleby comes up to you guys. Good evening, Master. Hope you're all well. And he's kind of looking over those of you that are a little bit more roughed up than others. So what's the plan?
Well, we're going to be going to this outpost Peter was telling us about, and we're going to, well, hopefully take it over.
Am I going to be of more use to you? Or
I am currently very well sorted. So no need for that this evening. In fact, I would much rather you get whatever rest you can. No, don't mock me with your human yawns.
sorry, I can't help myself.
I know I mock him on the regular too.
But you may just want to, we're going to be taking the carriage in, just may want to keep an ear out in case your pistols are needed.
I understand. Very good. I'll let the others know that you're, as he's just looking at Asmodeus like draining a deer and Noah kind of finishing up on his. Should we wait a little bit longer, or should I gather the others and we can start to make a plan?
I think we're just waiting for Weya to complete his task, and we should be on our way.
I had already asked Peter how long this journey is, but you know, in this world that Lyman's speaking in, it's been a week, but for Walter, it's just been like
Moments.
his last waking moments before,
Yeah.
you know, now. What, how far is it?
It's gonna be
Time-wise.
it's gonna be a couple hours, because where things ended last
Okay.
time, it was around 3 a.m. in the
Like
morning.
we would have made it by dawn if we would have went.
And you
last
would have made
night.
it by dawn and had
Right.
maybe a half an hour to play with before the sun rose, which is when you all said, yeah, fuck that, let's camp here, and
Okay.
then stretch out first thing in the evening.
2 hours out. Okay.
Again, that's what Peter warned you was kind of the trade-off of it's 2 hours of leaving the woods, going out of your way, but the potential reward is not only a huge blood pool of humans, but also a fortified location with potential sun cover and somewhere that you can kind of be safe from at least the lupines seeing you if you hide behind the walls.
A defensible outpost.
Mm-hmm.
And real quick, is it common knowledge that this is a cavalry outpost?
Walter has told the group.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
with Walter's role, he kind of vaguely remembered the plans of something about this being built out here, and now years later, it seems like they were successful in actually doing it.
Okay.
Because in this point in American history, the Comanche people are one of the last vestiges of indigenous peoples who are fighting out against the US government, using a lot of the rocky terrain in places out here in the more deserty areas and kind of using guerrilla warfare tactics. It's where you hear a lot of things about like Geronimo and, you know, people like that. That's going to be, I think if I remember correctly, that's a little bit later in the history, but it's around this time that the Comanche people are kind of seeing what's happening to the rest of the indigenous peoples of America and going, yeah, fuck this, we need to fight back.
Dad,
So-
I think Weo was actually, for whatever reason, Weo was occupied, like having a conversation with someone
Mhm.
when Walter explained this to the group. Actually, I don't know if Weo's heard like what this base is yet.
I forget it. I thought he was with you guys, but I could be wrong.
I'm just saying, there's an opportunity for Weo to discover it in real time.
Sure.
All right, so are we going to sneak in, partially sneak in, walk up to the front door and ring the bell?
I am fully in favor of me scouting ahead and checking for the exits, for guard positions, just getting any info beforehand.
How big
As
is
you guys are talking, both Henry and PETA do also join the hearing conversation happening. They both walk over to hear what's happening with the plan.
Those are all good ideas. Let's do them.
And do we have a rough like head count of what we're dealing with?
Are you asking? Is this
Yeah.
Chad asking, or is
No,
this asking?
this is way as the group has converged together into a singular
Well,
group.
I will say, much to Lyman's point, Chad, is Way aware that you guys are getting ready to storm a U.S. cavalry outpost?
He knows we're storming an outpost. I don't think he knows it's cavalry controlled.
Okay, go ahead and make a. This is going to be an int plus.
I mean, Wea's literally asking the group out loud. Like, I would figure that Walter and PETA would say something back to him.
Right? No, they would. I'm just trying to understand how much he knows as of right now.
Blotch news.
Go ahead and do int plus politics if you have any politics.
Christ. That is going to be a single intelligence dice.
Okay, so difficulty is 9 because other than the fact that you hate them, you know very little about the U.S. government.
Well, I know what dice I'm going to use.
Oh, it's just like real life, though.
I rolled an 8.
Shit. Okay. Again, what Wea knows about the US government is very finite as far as like the structure and organization of it. However, Wea, I'd say, even though no one said it to you personally yet, out in these parts, the US cavalry would make the most sense. Like, that would be at least where you're starting to get a suspicion, and you know how even seeing them affects you. So you are.
Yeah.
But anyway, to the question you asked out loud of, do we have a head count?
Yeah. Do we know how many we're gonna be fighting against here? Maybe a rough number?
PETA goes, I was part of some of the patrols that tried to understand. It's hard to tell how many of them enter and how many of them leave and how many they leave behind. Maybe I've seen it change from anywhere from 10 to more, possibly 20. It doesn't seem to be a full regiment, but it seems to be enough where they could fully defend this location against anything our people would try and do to them. Little do they know what we can actually do. But as the moonlight kind of reflects almost animalistically on his eyes a little bit, but as far as what they think is the limit to what our people can do, it is a well fortified location with high walls.
Well, if it's a fortification with walls, we have to con our way in, I would presume would be the way. Atris, she obviously has some sort of cloaking, so we can do that. I also can fly and do a quick overhead count over those walls, so we have a more distinct idea of what we're talking about here.
Henry pipes up and goes, I definitely do think there is wisdom in recon, so that way we get a more realistic look. I will also say, as how things were at my last base of operation, what is to our advantage is, one, they aren't expecting us, and two, they are not expecting, at least we will hope, supernatural beings. What research the Inquisition did into the US government, very few within its ranks are aware of the existence of your kind or lupines, though some I believe are, but they keep that pretty close to the chest. The disadvantage is it being nighttime. If there are structures within these walls, we won't know how many are potentially in there versus how many we just see making their patrols around. So we will want to keep that into consideration.
We're probably gonna have to talk to him one way or the other. And this is a base of riders. It's gonna be, hell, I don't know if they're successful, but if they were, then if PETA here's even got a beat on them in the first place, they're gonna have at least a good number of people active. But
But we are going to
maybe
have to.
hear me out. Here, just an idea. What if show them this badge here? Say, we're looking for dangerous wanted man who ended up enlisting, and we use some of your mind magic and my good debonair looks to talk out of him who's been acting up and maybe matches a description that we maybe don't know we have yet, until we find some folks to take in.
Do you also have knowledge of gangs, maybe not in this area, but as you say, if we can lead them to believe that they've maybe infiltrated the cavalry,
Who
we
was
can use
that?
that to our advantage.
Who were those folks on the train? The Diamondback gang? We could say we're looking for some of their folks.
I believe so.
That is
But
definitely who they
my
are.
only thought was we're going to have to cover up the gun.
However, oh, you mean
Right.
you mean etiquette?
That
Yeah,
was
well, got a blanket.
the other thing. I will say, I'm not going to make you roll for this, Walter. This is just something you would know, having been in the U.S. military before. The U.S., as far as ranking goes, now I'm not saying that this won't work, especially with some mental whamming on it. You do understand that the U.S. Marshals are more of a localized government, and this is the military kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that doesn't change a single thing that Walter just said at all.
Okay, just making sure that we
Excellent.
are. It is not impossible, but it's definitely one of those things of it would kind of be like a cop trying to storm into a
Military organization.
into like a naval base and be like, "Hey, I want to start interrogating your guys."
I'm just a glorified bounty hunter as far as they're concerned.
Yeah,
True.
But I will say that when Walter did serve anything, it was a super shittily cobbled together like coalition of militias in the Taxian army serving the part of the US Army, and it was informal and fucked up. So Walter may not really have an understanding of what structures have come out these days.
correct.
But Noah, I'm aware you can cloak the gathering, but would that qualify you to just cover up the gun?
Yes, I can disappear the gun. Don't you worry about how, but I can.
That will help a lot.
I
actually.
worry
I'm
about
suddenly
how.
not worried at all.
Now,
There's a
I
whole-
would
Same
love to
way
hear
I
how you
hide
do
our-
that.
I'm gonna hide it the same way I hide our wagon.
all right. Well, if this is cavalry that we're dealing with, I do have a bone to pick with them. So I
As
might.
Sonoy is by your side, and he's just a low growl just kind of comes out of Sonoy.
So if we are planning to eradicate this place, this is beneficial, but everyone knows if I lose control, especially against people who, have annihilated my people for years, things could get bad. I just want everyone here to know that if shit goes sideways, I might need to be stopped, especially in this situation.
Oh,
And me without popcorn.
Asmodeus pipes up and he goes, just to throw my hat in the ring, we go in hard and fast. I mean, you say hide the gun, I say use it. I mean, you get those doors open and we can just make this, they're humans.
We have a certain amount of bullets, and you wasted
those
them
are
already.
silver bullets.
Then we have other guns. The point is, they're humans. They're not
But
exactly trained kindred.
I'm not worried about us killing them. I'm worried about us just getting in the door first.
Look, we get in the door, we scout, we get in the door, we destroy. That's the goal.
Man, we just want to heal up. Shit.
Henry
I
also
don't care how we do it. We don't need to have a whole mat. What if there's 100 folks in there? We don't need to kill all of them. It'll take too long.
Well, then
And-
there will be 100 corpses.
shit.
That'd be a long time. I don't got that time.
Henry pipes up and he says, there was something else I was discussing with PETA during the day. The smell bags that I gave to all of you, they do help cover your scent. However, in discussing with PETA, it is possible that we are going to run into patrols of his tribe, and keep in mind, while useful and somewhat defensible from what I can understand, the more blood we spill, there's also the risk of his people catching wind of it. My smell bags do only cover up so much.
Henry, I put a lot of faith in your smell bags. So I don't.
Well, you should. They're top notch. But
And I've put a lot of smell bags in your faith. Wait, no.
Oh my god.
I'm not trying to suggest against this plan in any way, nor am I saying that we should leave any of them alive to tell tales. I'm just letting you know that whatever we choose, there is inherent risk in it.
I think the only thing we
I'm
need
still have.
to
Go
is
ahead. I'm sorry, Atris.
it's more or less how efficient and how fast we are going about, going in and killing everyone. Because yes, we're not going to leave anyone alive. That's not a question. It's just the amount of information we get and how many we're going to drain and how we're going to do it.
Let's go in invisible and just hit them like they never saw us.
I wasn't clear on this being the plan.
Walter's right. Let's go kill them all.
I just
I heard this
Asmodeus
idea.
slaps Walter on the back. Now you're thinking. That's the kind of plan I knew. I knew our employer had a reason for hiring.
I'm out for control and planning, of course. I'm not saying going in and me cloaked and just biting everyone in the room.
all right.
I mean,
let me
should
just
we-
let me just
should we
say
take a
one thing.
tally?
If there's a fuck.
If there's a 14-year-old
if there's
monk
someone I
child, we
know-
won't kill him.
if there's someone I want to keep alive, and you gotta trust me, it's not gonna be a whole damn group of people. If there's a couple or so I want to keep alive, then I'm trusting y'all to listen. I might have a reason.
Just
You
keep
have-
it manageable.
If you have a reason to keep someone around, that's good enough reason for us to leave them alone.
Now, is that the higher ups or the useful ones?
All I can say is sometimes you got a feeling there's a lot of different folks serve in a place like this, and they're usually not doing it just to fuck others over. But I guess we'll see what we find. Peter, we're gonna help you out with your problem. I guess you're leaving here anyway. We're helping someone out. We're helping ourselves out. Let's be honest. I'm ready to ride if y'all
Good
are.
then.
We need to
I'm ready to
cover up
ride.
this gun.
All right. Well, what I'm
Yes,
gonna
I can
do,
lead you.
I'm gonna kind of take a second and like concentrate and close my eyes, and I'm gonna spend 1 blood point in about 20 seconds, and then I'm gonna turn into my owl form.
Okay. As you guys see Wea shrink down, feathers emerging, and as he shrinks down into this little softball-sized bit of feather with these 2 big yellow eyes staring up at everybody.
Barn owl or screech owl Wea cannot drink blood out of,
Correct.
say, a deer
No,
carcass, right?
no,
Like
I
you can't
cannot.
recover that blood right now.
I'm
No.
topped off, so I'm good.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
not anymore.
Not
You're not.
anymore. Yeah, not anymore. But
He's a vampiric bird, but he's not a vampiric bird, okay? Like,
I almost put, instead of -1 blood, I almost put -1 bird.
No, we are +1 bird at this
Yeah,
moment.
+1 bird right now.
All right, well, shall we then?
And then I'm gonna.
is this the first time that you've done this in front of PETA?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I
Huh.
think I actually do. Yeah.
PETA just stares and he
Wow.
kind of like, hell is that?
Well, what I'm
I
gonna
know,
do?
cute, ain't he?
Yeah, since this is the first time and he doesn't know, I'm gonna like waddle my way over to him and just like graze myself on his leg.
It's on him.
It's a mascot. We need branding sometimes.
I
We're gonna
thought,
brand him?
Oh,
Wait, are you ready for that?
It's like a high pitched like pin squeal hoot.
PETA goes, and I thought my kind were the ones that changed form. Interesting.
We have
Oh,
another.
he can turn into one of your kind too.
I mean,
Clearly
you
doubt
know, wolf.
And if
Should I have told you that? Yeah, he can be a wolf.
yes, that's not my kind, though.
Hey, I'm just saying, if whatever form you're in is limber enough to lick down there, that's all I know.
He's been working on that for his whole life, and he still hasn't managed it.
Henry kind of nervously, okay, so let's just go ahead and start writing.
Breaks the awkward tension.
As Peter's looking like offended that you just basically racially insulted.
So much racism. So much racism.
And-
I cast conceal on the whole wagon, guns and all.
okay, it is an invisible wagon.
Liam will drive.
Okay.
And I will fly off and scout the settlement.
Okay. Are you keeping up with the carriage or are you flying ahead?
I'm going ahead.
Okay. Easily, I will say relatively easily enough, you will get there before everyone else. Who's riding where for this leg of the journey?
I don't think I should ride on top with the gun anymore. I don't think I should just be like floating in the air, even if Liam is kind of. So I'm gonna actually get on my horse, which I think is like tied up to pull this thing. And can I just ride it while it pulls? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's going to be awkward because the setup for that harnesses a horse is different than like having a saddle and everything else. So you're riding bareback on this horse.
Yes. Yeah, I'm bareback, and since he's like in that third row in the front or whatever, that's some ropes that Henry like half-assed together anyway.
Yeah. That was a bit of MacGyvering to make this 4-horse carriage into a 6-horse carriage.
Yeah, I'm super comfortable doing that though.
Rings.
Okay. Unless the trip gets rocky, I'm not gonna make you roll for it. But if something starts happening where like maneuvering needs to happen, I might make you make a roll to hold on.
Maybe
And
I'll
since-
actually help the ride.
Yeah.
Since Atris did not put up the silence of death, I'm just going to whisper. We will stop short of the encampment so that Wea can report back.
And PETA on the back of his horse looks back and he goes, he actually gets off of his horse and goes, may I my horse will run alongside, it knows what to do. I'm actually going to go in wolf form. I think I need my senses a little bit more heightened to keep on the alert, and all of you should be remembering that there is a chance that my people will have scouting parties in this area.
You're going to mark territory, aren't you?
All of this is ours already. You're just visiting.
Can you lead us a way they might not patrol as much? Will you be able to see from a distance, or I don't know, man, warn us if there's something we should redirect or pause or hide?
I'm in that form. I will be slightly more aware of certain scents and sounds. As I'm sure this one, as he gestures towards Sonoy, could tell you. I will make sure to stay at least within eyesight though, and you'll know if I see something that you should be concerned about. But in the meantime, keep your eyes sharp. As he starts to transform down, and you see him, and he's the size of a full-grown, I mean, he's not a small animal, it's still a full-grown wolf, but it is a brown wolf with yellow eyes. And
it's still not an owl.
We don't know how much is going to happen when we get to the big camp, so this is getting us ready for it. It's worth it. So let's do this right, y'all.
And he is a regular wolf. He's not in his dire wolf form.
Yeah.
And he starts off ahead. Where you take off. So who's driving? Who's inside the carriage? Liam, you're driving. Okay. Where you're flying? Atris, you're where?
She's inside.
Okay.
Where's Henry? Where's Asmodeus? Where's Noah?
Yeah, Noah, where are you at?
I assumed I would be going inside.
Okay, so you and Atris are inside. Liam, would you prefer to have Bartleby or Henry or Asmodeus sitting alongside you?
I'll take Azzy for a little while.
Okay.
If he's willing to relinquish, since the gun, we need to have the gun,
Yeah.
I'll stick Bartleby up there for a bit.
He sits there and he takes from his back the rifle that has the scope on it, and kind of takes that one out. And now I'm trying to think of point of order, not odor. Noah, when you cast this, was it before or after everyone got on? In other words, would it be a bunch of people floating on an invisible carriage, or is it that you're casting it when everyone's already there and including them in this?
So I did my research, and because they already know it exists, they would be seeing the predator-like ghost vision, and everyone else would not know to look towards it.
Right, but I'm saying, are the individuals who are on the carriage seen or unseen?
They would be unseen because people just look away.
Yeah. I think by extension, if you're already averting your gaze away from that object, I guess by extension, you're already averting your gaze away from the people.
It gets pretty messy though.
That's weird.
There's horses attached to it that are maybe
Yeah,
visible.
I'll say it'll
Yeah.
make it harder for people to notice it. It's not a surefire thing because it's still horses and other things attached to it and everything else. It's not an insta win, but it does make it more difficult for people to notice something. Okay, So in that case, then Bartleby and Henry are actually going to get in the carriage this time. Henry attaches his horse to the back of the carriage because in this case, it's better to be not really spread out as to not give more cases for being observed. And y'all take off. You continue in a more eastern direction. At this point at night, between the feedings and the talking, it's around 7 at night. So still very early in the evening. You are riding along. The trees are starting to get more and more thin as time goes on. And to the point where you get the idea that eventually, I'd say after about the first hour or so of riding, you then are no longer in what would be considered forest at this point. It is more of going back out into the Badlands of southern Texas.
You are here.
Yes. The snow is, yeah, the map's around here somewhere. Snow's on the ground. Weather's fair. I mean, you get the idea that if you guys felt cold, it's a relatively cold night, but not blizzard levels, so it's manageable for the humans and the horses. All right, so I need everyone who is not inside the carriage to give me a perception plus alertness roll, please. If you are currently not human, please, or not in humanoid form, use the stats of whatever you're normally using. Because way I think you have your owl stats.
That's unfortunate. I got 1. It's a lot of low numbers.
I mean, it's dark. There's no lights out here other than what little moonlight you guys have. Yeah, it's dark, but no. 3? Okay. Let's see. Asmodeus is going to go ahead and make his roll. 4. Ooh, 5. Shit. 6. Okay. So that's 6 for Asmodeus.
I also got 6 as an owl.
Okay. For the time being, you don't notice anything, Wea, out of the normal. Every so often, you'll see like a rabbit jump from one bush to the other. You'll see actual owls flying around, the occasional bat. So there's definitely, unlike close to where the Elder is in Taylorsville, there is actual life out here, though it is winter. Life hasn't stopped happening. Life finds a way. As you continue on, okay, so Liam, you're driving this, correct? I'm trying to think if this would be a stealth roll or this would be a ride roll.
Either way, I've got both.
I'll say go ahead and give me a Dex plus ride.
Ah, damn, you want 2.
All right. You're keeping the horses calm and collected. I mean, there's where the death of silence is up, so you're still hearing the as they're riding along, but they're not making unusual noises or anything that would be very alerting or anything. You guys continue on. Hour goes by, hour and a half goes by. Wea, you said you got 6 successes.
Yeah.
In the distance, because with your owl vision, you can kind of see a ways off. You do see what look like 3 decent sized animals running along off towards what would be in front of and to the left of the carriage, a good trying to think how far, like mile out. It's hard to make out exactly what they are, but they're definitely decently sized animals.
Say running away from our path.
Not that Walter knows at this point, but where they are kind of running, where they are locationally wise would be forward and to the left, and they're kind of making a diagonal pattern, which would be like cutting across you guys in the current trajectory that they're making.
Okay.
So like if you guys are going this way, they're going like this.
Looking back at the carriage, I don't see anything, right?
I mean, you see the carriage.
But
You
in-
see the horses.
Yeah, I see the
us
horses, but
on
the
them.
carriage,
You see the horses, and you see Walter riding bareback on back of his. And it's kind of like one of those things of, since you were it's too far away, even though you were there for this, you just kind of see the harness just kind of fades into nothing behind the horses. And then if you were looking far enough back, you would eventually see, along with the horse hoof prints in the snow, you would see carriage wheel tracks, but they seem to only appear like a good 30 feet behind where the carriage is. Like as the effect of the spell goes, the hypnosis that surrounds it fades, leaving what tracks are actually inside.
okay. Oh shit.
Because just as a reminder for everybody, obfuscate is not actual invisibility.
Yeah, it's
not
hypnosis.
it's mass hypnosis of anything that happens to be looking that way to kind of ignore it and look over something.
Would you say it's a mass effect?
It is. It's the equivalent of you looking for your phone and it being right in front of you on the table for like 20 minutes kind of deal.
Like using your phone to find your phone.
Exactly.
I didn't come here to be attacked, thank you.
Well, that's exactly what you came here for. Have you played this game before?
Oh, dang.
Do I see Noah?
No. Because not only is the carriage invisible, but he is inside the carriage.
Oh, well, shit. Okay.
The only one of your party that you see
Is Walter.
is Walter and PETA running up ahead of them. In
Oh,
wolf.
boy. Okay.
Oh, I should ask, is Sonoy in the carriage or is Sonoy outside the carriage?
I'd put him outside the carriage.
Okay, then I'd say at this point, Sonoy is keeping pace with PETA.
I'm gonna fly down the Walter.
Okay. Walter, you're right along, and out of the sky, this little tiny ball of feathers comes at you.
I hold my wrist out all
Oh, nice.
professional falconer style.
Yes. I land on it like a trained owl.
One of those things of the claws, the talons kind of dig in a little bit. It's a little wince, but not enough to do damage.
As I land, I'll make little owl biscuits. No, sure.
What is it,
Well,
little
die,
fella?
let's have this moment of weakness.
But
Does-
I'll look
Did
at Walter.
Vita fall down the well?
Okay, I'll look at Walter. And while sitting on his arm perched, I'm gonna look down at his horse. And then I'm gonna look at him. And I'm gonna bring my wings down. Because I can't communicate with him because the only person who understands
so Walter,
me
you just
is
see this
Noah.
little owl looking at you, horse.
Actually, that's not true.
As far as I know, That is what it's true.
Well, because you were also helping me with my communicating with animals.
Yeah, but I can't see you.
I can't see you.
I mean, you probably know he's there.
Now that you're
I'm-
closer, Wea, since the thing was cast, you can't make out anybody, but there's this, predator
Yeah, the shimmer.
shimmer,
Yeah.
almost like heat waves on a hot road behind where you know where the
So,
shape of the carriage
My
is.
question is, can I see Walter and Wea?
Yeah, I'd say yes. They're close enough. So yeah,
He's-
absolutely can.
I think he's telling us to go down.
And I'm just gonna, because I don't want to break the obvious. I'm just like, Wea, I'm driving.
I'll say where you hear this.
I will fly onto Liam's shoulders
Just-
or arm, whatever. I have to be in front of him.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna put
will-
my
I will
I'm
be
gonna
in
put my
front of
shimmer
him,
arm out.
and then I will look him in the eyes. Oh wait, how does this work? Hold on.
Well, I do know it requires eye contact from your training, so
Yeah.
I will.
You must speak to me. I cannot speak to you.
Okay. Okay.
This is how this works because I am the animal and you are the human.
Wea,
only
go
done this-
ahead and give me. Okay, this is just going to be a because the carriage is still currently moving.
Oh yeah, give me a skill check. Hell yeah.
This is not going to be just a freebie.
Yeah, let's do it.
But whatever happens, his head will remain impeccably in place.
You know what? I'm good. This is going to be a high or low thing because
Okay. Well, I'm an owl, so we're gonna go high.
okay. Okay. How many health levels does an owl have?
As that I take it it's still my health levels, right? Because I'm turning into the owl. Because I don't have health levels, I have blood pool, speed, willpower. So I take it would be my blood levels at the owl.
Yeah, that's
level.
right, because it's still you.
It's still me
Yeah.
as the animal.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not a separate animal.
So yeah, okay. Go ahead and do a soak roll for the owl.
Okay.
How much of him was spider against
Because
carriage?
that was a 1 that I just rolled. So you said high, so that was about as low as
Well, that also includes my fortitude on top of the owl stamina.
it does.
And -1 dice because I'm injured. Two successes.
Okay. I'll say with halved and everything else, you're fine as you try to find this amorphous shape and you actually smack into something. As you hear Asmodeus go, son of a bitch, god fucking damn owl.
Yeah.
Being spit out from behind the carriage, then appearing into, you see like feathers come out, seemingly coughed up.
I curse him an owl as I hit him.
Woo!
Almost swallowed with
And you feel something grab onto you. As Liam, you kind of look over in the blob next to you, you see the form that you only assume is Asmodeus holding this owl in his hand. Not doing damage, but holding on firmly to it.
Give him to me.
He kind of
At the sound-
like this passes the owl.
At the sound of an owl cursing at someone, I'm gonna stick my head out of the window.
You have Feral Whispers up?
Well,
Um,
Feral Whispers is to communicate, you have to be looking at.
I mean, you hear an
Okay.
angry owl. You hear
You hear an owl.
you hear angry hooting.
all right, that's good enough. Knowing I just watched him turn into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will look at the shimmer that is Liam, or if Liam is full, whatever.
No,
it
you
is.
can't. You would know that something's up ahead because you're right by it inside the carriage.
Anyway, I'm gonna look.
I'm holding Wea in my hand, looking at him.
Yes, you have to speak to me.
Yes, okay, so I don't have the page mark. What's Feral Whispers roll?
It is allows character to speak with.
Manipulation, animal kin.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that is to command it. You
Yeah,
must
for
do-
It should say
commanding.
on your quick.
yeah, no roll is needed to speak with me.
Okay. My quick sheet doesn't have it, Sean, because that was not one of my
That's
original
right.
goals.
That wasn't one of
Yeah.
yours.
He's-
So I
it's-
might have maybe for 100th episode, it might be time for new character sheets where I update some stuff.
True. Yeah.
Oh, all right, Wayne. What's going on?
Are
I
you
know-
doing this in your head or are you hooting at him?
Oh, I don't know how that works.
So then it would be telepathic.
Because I don't speak owl.
Yeah, he doesn't. He would have no idea how to do
Telepathically
that.
just did that. Okay,
Yeah.
just checking.
And then using our telepathic connection here, I will say, I noticed 3 figures about in front of us to the left, about a half mile to a mile out. We can either slow down and wait for them to pass or whatever, but they were beasts. They were 3 animals together.
Yeah, I agree. Slowing down would be best. We're not in a good position to get into an altercation right now. And any noise we set off here will alert the post that's coming up.
Slow the carriage. I'll come back with more information.
Will do.
And
Okay.
And I slow down.
Okay. You stop. I'm gonna see if where roll for perception alertness for Sonoy to see if he notices the carriage slowing down. Apparently PETA is distracted.
Found a new tree. Raising a
3 successes.
Okay, Sonoy notices that the carriage is slowing down. So I'm sure he'll make some, way of alerting PETA, and the two of them will slow down too.
Bork.
All right. Noah and Atris and those inside, you guys feel the carriage slowing down. You heard Asmodeus cussing and saying damn owl, and then some angry hooting, and then now the carriage is slowing down.
1, does he not know to keep his voice down when we're cloaked? And 2, what is going on?
Oh. Are you
He
asking
can
me
cloak
or?
himself.
Speaking in general, she wouldn't. Atris would know not to speak loud to not break the obfuscation. She would be more speaking to Noah. He's the only other one inside right now.
Well, not counting Henry and
The humans.
Henry and
He just means people who matter.
yes, the player characters.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys slow down. Is anyone doing anything?
As of right now, she'd be staying put. I don't think there'd be any, unless there's like any other external noise, perhaps.
Okay. Liam, are you doing I'm gonna have you all make a group stealth roll for me. However, I want you to tell me it'll depend on whether it'll make your individual roll higher or lower difficulty. What, if anything, are you doing to help aid in the group stealth of not being noticed? I'd say at this point, it's all going to be, at this point, the difficulty is 5, just because y'all are obfuscated and also have the smell bags. So the difficulty is only 5 as is. Are you just completely staying quiet and silent, or are you doing anything else to try and help the situation?
Is there a window behind me that I could open and talk into the carriage?
Not behind you, but there's the little panes on either side. The right behind you is a solid piece of wood.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of like lean over and whisper into the Pang.
Okay.
Waya says it's a wolf patrol. We're gonna slow down and keep quiet.
All right. More people around.
All right. So not Wea, but everyone else make a dex stealth roll for me, please.
For my sake, I'm gonna lean way down on this horse and just lay on it.
Okay.
Flat.
You are becoming one with the horse.
Yep. Is it just
it-
Liam rolling stealth? Is everyone rolling stealth?
No, everyone is rolling stealth except for Wea.
And you said it was diff 5?
It is diff 5, yes. 5 successes,
8 successes.
8 successes.
6 successes.
Where's my stealth stat? There it is. Okay, sorry.
Liam got 6.
Okay. Yeah, you guys feel pretty confident that you are pretty well hidden. Asmodeus isn't doing anything stupid for a change. The 2 humans inside the carriage aren't doing anything. Wea, what are you doing in your owl?
Walter got 5.
Walter got 5. Thank you, Walter.
I want to relocate the
You're
wolf.
actually invisible right now, so that works.
I want to relocate the wolf patrol and keep my eye on it in conjunction to the
Okay.
carriage.
Perception alertness difficulty is 8, only because it is nighttime and you're high up and you're.
So I get a -3 to perception in owl form, so it's difficulty 5.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, owl form is no joke.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things of most gangrel transformations. One is for recon, one is for fighting.
Yeah, so this is going to be 3 successes on that.
Okay. You lost them for a second. And you kind of have a panic moment of like, oh fuck, where are they? And you do catch them. It seems one has they have stopped and they are kind of sniffing around a bit. One of them with the nose kind of up in the air, trying to catch something on the wind. The other is nose to the ground, it seems like they're looking for something or tracking something. Do you do anything else? Or are you just going to try and
Are they still in the same trajectory?
At this point, because your carriage has stopped, they're a little bit off to the left of you guys. And that's where they've stopped, like forward into the left.
Got it. I will fly back to Liam.
Like, if I was to give you a standard clock, it would be at your
Northwest, right?
They'd be at your 10 o'clock.
Yeah, like northwest direction if
Yeah.
we're heading north.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will fly back to Liam and await his mental telepathic connection.
I'll say this time I won't make you roll for it. 1, because the carriage has stopped, and 2, you remember where he was before, so you kind of just assume that he's in the same location.
Yeah, I'll stop and look him dead in the eyes. And then I'll say, they've stopped trying to pick a scent. We should stop here and wait until they move on.
Fair enough.
And then I'll flutter back into the dark sky.
Okay. You look back at where they were, still there sniffing around, as they seem to have either found what they were looking for or didn't find. It's hard to interpret from here, but they actually kind of backtrack a bit, not the way they came, but more of going further out away from you guys in a diagonal direction, and start going. With that high success roll, they did not catch your guys' scent. From what you can tell, they are going further away from you guys. So you feel like they're not going to find you guys.
Once they pass, I will flutter back and onward. We are safe now. And then after that, I will go ahead and scout the outpost.
Okay.
Get ahead of them.
So then I will say Wea is definitely going to get there first before the rest of us. So where you come up and up ahead, you do see it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. There's very much this was built just to be where it's at. Again, you don't know exactly if to the best of from what you gathered, the government isn't aware of where this village is either, but they just know that there was high indigenous activity in the area, so that's why they're kind of scouts out. And you do start to see, and it comes up, and it is a fort. There are wooden logs that have been set around the perimeter and sharpened at the top to make them hard to scale. The walls are about 20-25 feet tall in a rectangular pattern. You see each corner of this rectangle. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead. For the rest of you, I'm just trusting you not to use meta knowledge of stuff that you don't know. But I'm just going to show you the map.
Oh, don't worry. I don't know anything regardless of what I see.
I'm not looking.
Oh, nice.
So, as you approach and fly, right here is a large wooden set of double doors that make up the front entrance of this place.
Mhm.
Again, about 20-foot tall walls. How close are you going to get? I will say you're fairly confident that you're an owl. So as long as you don't do anything that would be like, why is that owl tap dancing on the wall? Like, as long as you're not doing anything to draw attention to yourself, it's not like you're an animal that's not indigenous to this area. You're an owl.
I'm gonna like fly directly over to get like a bird's eye view of the center. And then I'm gonna do a U-turn and then come back the same direction, but check the corners as I come back.
Perception plus alertness, please. This is going to be stupid because it's standard difficulty at this point, -3. So the difficulty is 2. Don't botch, essentially.
Don't call it into existence.
Let me have my fun.
8 successes.
Okay, so with that, you get a pretty good look at the place. Again, keep in mind that at this point, you guys are starting to approach 8 o'clock. No, sorry, 9 o'clock-ish at night. Because it was around 7 when you set out, and it was about a 2-hour ride. So you see the walls. What you do see is that there is a walkway just about 5 feet below the outer wall that goes along the entire perimeter. And you get the idea that that's where guards can actually be walking along it, even be shooting between the wooden beam spikes for defensive purposes. There is a watchtower on each corner, in which each currently has a guard on it. Now, I will say, with 8 successes, I'll say 1 or 2 of them look to be like very taking their job very seriously, taking, very much, but the others look bored and are trying to stave off falling asleep and things like that. You get the idea that this is a job that hasn't seen a lot of action recently. Inside, you see that there are staircases that lead up to each of the watchtowers, and you do get that the watchtowers are attached to the perimeter walkway that's up above the ground about 15 feet up. So someone could, once they climb up to one of these watchtowers, then walk around the entire upper perimeter.
Mhm.
There are 4 structures within the perimeter. that you have no idea what they're for or anything else, because even with that high of success, unless you're planning to try and like fly into certain buildings, they seem to be an interesting combination of lumber, mud, straw. These are not like big city things. This is a military outpost that they made out here, combining wood with mud to kind of make different structures and, you know, things like that. Well enough protected against the elements. There's oh, that's the one thing I forgot. Not that it's super important, but there is a right here. There is a flagpole that currently does not have a flag on it, but there's a flagpole right here. 4 structures, and what you see is actually 4 built-in fire pits that are currently going, and you definitely note those as a potential issue of this is still the dead of winter, and these humans are having to do something to keep warm at night, especially. And at a glance, I'll say with 8 successes, you see 4 guards, 1 for each watchtower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. Each of them kind of spending time around one of the fire pits, kind of walking around. They're not all just like staying perfectly still, but it seems like there's about 8 guys there. And what looks to be, God, with 8 successes, I'll just give it to you, a younger person, probably early teens, that you see them carrying things like hay and stuff like that into this building, where you get the idea that this might be like a stable hand or something like that.
In front of our way.
I mean, he still has a little uniform, so it's one of those things that it could be a bugler, it could be a stable hand, but it's there wasn't really a whole lot of laws as much about like conscriptment, or, you know, especially if you were like a drummer boy or a bugler or, you know, something like that. And that's what you see from the 2 flyovers. So just as a reminder, the walls are about 20 to 25 feet tall, from floor to point. The catwalk behind it is about 15 feet tall, which gives them about 5 feet where they can still walk, look over it, but duck behind it in the case of a attack.
Okay. I will fly back to the gang to report my findings.
Okay.
And about how close are we to the outpost?
You don't know yet, like you don't see it yet, but because Wea flew up ahead.
Oh, shoot, I was muted. Yeah, I was gonna ask that. We don't see it in the distance.
Right. I would say you've been riding, not counting the small break you took to avoid the patrol. You were been riding for about an hour and a half, and Peter said it was a couple hours away. So that to give you an indication.
He's getting close.
I'll say a little bit longer, and Owl Wea comes fluttering back.
Move my shimmer.
I'll say I won't make you with how high it's ridiculous to make you roll for this. You eventually see the horses and Walter and the wolves up ahead. Your wolves, as in Wea, as in Sonoy and Peta, up ahead.
All right. I will fly to Liam.
Okay.
And I will tell him.
I will open my arms up, offended, as you fly past me.
I will look back and shed one owl tear as I fly by my brother. And land
Trust
on
me.
Liam.
He would rather talk to you.
And then in owl,
No, I
I'd be
don't-
like,
I don't
yeah,
litter.
I would rather talk to him, but I'm stuck with you. Anyway, So
Dang it.
Proteus kind of leans over to Liam. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that owl was giving you sass.
roll sass. Roll for damage.
That is the sassiest looking owl I have ever seen.
I pop my hip and like put my hand on it all sassy. No. I will convey to Liam that it is like a fort, and all the buildings inside the fort are not made very well. They're made with like dirt or mud, straw, and lumber. There's 4 buildings, 4 fire pits within the building, each having 2 guards. There's a 20 to 25 foot wall on each corner. They have watchtowers with guards in them, double doors at the front. It's a 15-foot catwalk, so they do have a 5-foot range to duck under the wall if they need to take cover. Half the guards look like they're invested. The other half look like they're bored and just like passing time. And there's stairs that lead up to each watchtower from the inside. And all the watchtowers are connected through the catwalks.
This must be a lot of animated hooting.
It's a lot of hooting. It's a mouthful for sure.
And did the wolves move off?
A beak full.
I did not. They moved off. We should be good to go. I did not see them in our path.
All right. Are you going to stay in this form for now?
I figured I'll stay in this form until you guys get in, and once the madness starts, I'll take them by surprise.
Very well.
I will be in the far watchtower, the far west. Fuck it. Hopefully that's the direction. Watchtower from where you guys enter. If anything goes wrong, I'll be able to hear you guys, and I'll shift out, and I will do what I can.
Very well. And I just knock on the carriage. Hey, Tris.
Yes.
Oh, we've got some intel on the structure, but it seems like there's going to be a 20-foot wall climb on the side and 1 guard at each post.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Sounds like I know where I'm going first.
Other than that, we should be able to take our carriage to the front door and play our little games.
Something. Oh well, fuck it. I already flew away. I forgot something, but it's all good. It's all good. It's how the game works.
For what it's worth, in case it changes anything, I don't imagine it would, but the watchtowers they do have roofs to them. They do have 4-sided, it comes to a point, so that way the snow kind of sloughs off of it. But they aren't just like open watchtowers. They do have like 4 posts and a roof.
Enclosure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start moving those though.
Well, okay, I will say, to be fair, I did get an additional humanity point, I think like 2 sessions ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, talking straight to the storyteller here, would that impact my decision to fly back and tell Liam that there are younger kids that look like they're not really fighters there? Would that humanity influence me to fly back and tell him that, since I'm at a higher humanity now?
What level humanity are you at again?
6.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a conscience roll for me, please.
Damn you, conscience.
Oh my god. That's not very good, guys. My conscience is in constant flux. It's hard to pinpoint. I rolled an 8.
Okay, so then because you succeeded in your conscience roll, I'm gonna let you decide. You are bloodbound to Walter.
It's true.
Would you feel it would do him more harm or good to know this ahead of time?
I'm gonna go back and I'll say it. I'll go back to Liam and I'll explain that there are younger.
What is it?
There are younger people dressed as the cavalry. We could have another mission problem on our hands where not all these fighters are here on purpose. Some of them may have been pulled here.
Understood. Okay.
Tell Walter.
I will.
Tell Walter.
I will. I've
Good.
already seen the ghost that haunts him from the mission. I don't want another one.
Excellent. And then I'll fly away.
Walter!
Oh,
What?
I will say,
Can we whisper enough or?
It would be
Okay.
almost impossible to have this conversation without breaking the obfuscate all on a moving carriage while one person's.
I'll just hop off my horse. I'll walk back to him and walk or jog with the carriage. That's not.
I also assume it wouldn't be a good idea to randomly have horses walk up to the mission door and then like be attached to nothing.
Ghost horses, yes.
Ghost
Perhaps.
horses all day. Ghost Rider, let's go.
I'll probably actually like mount the bench like halfway and just kind of half stand off it and talk to Liam here.
Okay.
But what's going what's going on?
Weah said that there are some younger people inside this outpost as well. Likely workers or conscripted people.
But
just want to make you aware.
Are we talking kids?
Possibly, but definitely not full grown adults.
What the? We can't. All right. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. We should try and figure out if there's bad sorts in there and just maybe get them out of there and get what we need from them.
Well, if worse comes to worse, we lock the younger ones away and then I screw with their brain a little bit so they don't remember we were ever there.
Walter, by the way, is like standing basically crotch right over Asmodeus having this conversation.
And now that you can see it, but Asmodeus is just sitting there with the rifle and he's like,
Clap, clap.
I
To the left.
I love this so much.
oh.
So we don't need to go in guns blazing.
Oh, that's never
Get
been
what we
my
want.
MO. I figured we would get invited in first.
Asmodeus leans over. That's a rumor. We don't actually need that.
Son of a bitch.
Have you ever understood tact?
Isn't that sticky stuff that you use to glue stuff together?
Yes.
Only when paired with gruel.
Can we see the outpost?
It is you still were driving the carriage, correct?
Yeah, the carriage started moving.
Yeah.
I'll say if you give it like another 15 minutes, you guys do see it out on, because again, this is kind of Badlands. It's not like perfectly flat, but there's a whole lot of nothing out here. So other than the occasional tree or rock outcropping, you do see this structure starting to impose itself on the horizon.
Hey,
All
Trish, I'm
right,
not sure if you want to get off ahead of time and go scout your points.
I'm
definitely
gonna lean out the door and drop conceal for a moment.
Okay.
Are we gonna hit this door guns a-blazing, or are we coming quiet and letting them let us in?
Well, I figured at the least I could take care of the guards in the guard tower. I would, however, assume we would want to wait until you're all inside before I will initiate any other conflict with our, soon-to-be meals.
And if it is a fort style, like Weah indicated, we're not going to be able to force our way in. So an invite's the best way. So I would say not guns blazing.
I'd agree.
Size.
I think since I can hide the carriage so well, Walter could just pretend to be bringing the horses with him to some urgent business. Walter, do you have an excuse for that? Any military reason you should be coming through?
I don't know if they're gonna continue to not notice that the horses are all in this weird damn caravan, but
We put a blanket on top of etiquette.
Henry speaks up. He goes, there is always the option of unhitching the horses and riding in on horseback and stashing the carriage somewhere before we ride up to the fort.
Yeah, we really could just leave the carriage in a better spot.
If our
if
plan
we
is to
wanted
have this
do
finished
that.
before dawn, then we don't really need the carriage, so to speak, especially if we
Very
don't
true.
plan on using the gun anyway.
Hurt much.
All in favor of ditching the carriage temporarily?
I
All
Asmodeus.
opposed? Me.
Asmodeus going, you want me to leave her? As he reaches back and kind of just pets the gun.
Do you want to stay with her
You can
and make sure she's
babysit.
protected and miss all the killing?
Oh, wow. Thanks. You just broke our Pembroke general. Thanks, Liam.
Shit, he rolled a 5, which is right down the middle. Okay,
You know, I appreciate your sacrifice and willing to stay with the carriage to make sure it stays safe.
God.
It really is to your detriment. It's no wonder you're one of his generals.
I hate Liam. It's so good. I hate it.
So, Liam, let me ask what your goal is. Did you want him to come with, or did you actually want him to stay behind?
I don't want a loose cannon.
Well,
Yeah, but where don't you want the loose cannon at?
Okay, so then if your goal is to actually convince him to stay behind, go ahead and give me a manipulation, because my God, are you manipulating?
Yeah, he is.
I've done it before.
This is a manipulation plus, I'll say leadership.
I am so happy I put points in leadership for no good reason.
And
It's come in handy,
difficulty
actually.
is going to be 7, just because Asmodeus doesn't listen to leadership very much. So
He has a negative towards leadership. Hell yeah.
Well,
I'm
I
gonna
haven't.
I'm gonna help Liam, but in an odd way. I'm gonna intimidate Oz as best as I can by
Oh,
throwing him
no.
a challenge. Now, Oz, aren't you proficient in obfuscate? Shouldn't you be able to hide it as well as I can? Now, that's a good enough reason to stay behind with the carriage and protect the baby.
I actually need to check real quick.
Chickadee check.
I got 3 on the way.
This
3.
is just me challenging his obfuscate, and his pride.
Okay, fair enough.
Challenge that pride.
Asmodeus does have obfuscate. I forgot about that.
I'm sure he did too.
Right? He doesn't use it very often, but okay, so lower the difficulty. I'll say because he already rolled though, you can roll too. This is gonna be I'm gonna say it's not really you were trying for intimidation, so go ahead and try manipulation plus intimidation roll.
Okay.
Diff is also 7.
I got 4.
Okay. That pushed it. 3 was not going to be enough, but that actually pushed it over.
Only 1-1.
All right. I'll stay with the carriage. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for her.
We'll bring you back a gift bag.
Just bring back a snack pack.
Bring me the leftovers.
Just save me 1 to kill. Let me shoot 1 of them. Deal?
All right.
Are you lying or telling the truth?
We'll bring him 1 back for his own amusement. I have no qualms with it.
Cool. So at this point, you guys are far enough away where you feel like, okay, you could ride up without them knowing where the carriage is. Just leave me like 2 of the horses, so in case I need to move this thing, I can actually move it.
All right.
Yeah, we got a lot of horses here.
And if they're approaching, I want to have Leia positioned at one of the watchtowers furthest away from the entrance.
Okay.
I'm gonna have him perch on top of the watchtower. Now, how from the here, give me 1 second. So if I land on like the top of the watchtower, the very top of it, from there going down into where the guards are,
yeah,
like what's the distance as like a draw?
Okay.
Is it like I could like hang on and like swing in the watchtower and
Right,
start
right.
combat?
So to give you an idea, the tippity top, the point of each of the watchtowers from what would be floor level for them,
Okay.
would be about, let's see, if it's 15 feet up and then another.
Math.
8 plus. So it is 8 feet between what would be their floor and the ceiling of this thing.
Okay.
And then about another 4 feet to the point. So from the point to the entrance is about 4 feet.
Oh, okay, cool. So
But
yeah,
like at a slant.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like you
yeah.
have to come down and
Yeah, so like I'll perch right on the dead center top of it.
okay, easy enough to do.
I want to like point myself in the way of where the two big doors are that open up.
Okay,
so
and are
I
you
could
on the left hand or the right hand side of the two big doors on the back too?
let's go left hand. So, but I will be there on the top watching them come into the double doors is my goal. I want to observe everything happening as they come in.
Yeah, the watchtowers are the tallest structures in the rest of them kind of look to be about mostly like 7 feet tall. Like these are maybe 8. So you get the idea that these are the tallest structures. So it gives you a good, no pun intended, bird's eye view of the fort.
Excellent. And that's where I want to be positioned.
All right. As far as the rest of you guys, and wait, a point of reference, did you mention the fire pits to them or no?
I did mention the fire pits to Liam.
Okay. So you all know that there is active fire in these things too. Atris, are you going out ahead or is there going to be another recon crew? I'll say at this point, Sonoy and PETA come back and PETA forms back into human form.
Yeah, I think at this point we've already gone over the pertinent details. She is going to go ahead and so she says she wants to strike at the guard tower. So at this point, she's just going to look back and it's like, I'll see you inside, give a salute, and she's going to want to obfuscate and throw up her silence of death.
Okay. You see the shimmer start to kind of fade into the night here. Henry looks at Weah and he says, oh no, Weah's not there.
Oh,
sorry, I meant Walter. Sorry, the other W.
W.
Walter, I feel the need to ask this. I know very little about your past, but you've told me some things and Liam has told me some others. What are the odds that anyone back in your time of service is still alive? As in, I don't know how old you are.
Well, you never ask a gentleman his age. But
luckily, I don't think I'm speaking to a gentleman. So the point is,
oh my God!
Wow.
Damn
Ouch.
right. Look,
I
I
felt that.
kept in touch with a couple folks who, not the people I knew, but they're in the family and they're still around. Look, it hadn't been that long since I passed. I mean, all right, it's been
I suppose my question is
30 years.
Is anyone going to recognize you? And if so, have you reintroduced yourself in such a way that they won't be surprised about your appearance? Or are they going to be confused that you have not aged in the last couple decades?
I don't think anyone's gonna know who I am. Not out here. There's no way that there's no way they'd put someone important out here. There's
There's like
clearly
banners,
nothing
just
to
welcome
worry
home,
about.
Walter.
Yeah, right. Streamers and party hats.
In loving memory, just like in memoriam. There's a little
Oh my
shrine.
God.
What, you think I kept the same beard the entire last 30 years? I mean, I have, but
Right.
don't worry about it. There's no way. This sounds like a little podunk outpost.
Ah,
Ain't gonna have to worry about the anyone who might have seen me recently. I've been gone a while anyhow.
You said 30 years, yes?
You know, I've been in touch more recently, but
All right, so you've constructed yourself. So there are those who might know you, but they know you as you currently look, and so it shouldn't be shocking to them.
we'll go with that.
Right. Excellent. All right.
Henry should be expecting this by now.
All right then. Should we press forward then?
Liam, we got a story to tell him, right?
Oh, we're either doing get help or we're doing looking for bad guys with the U.S. Marshals. Shall we coin flip?
Uh,
We can be invisible. I
shit,
like
you wanna
to get
bet?
help.
Walter actually has a coin like ready instantly. Flips it. I don't know if that showed up on the camera. I
If-
flipped the
if we're-
coin and shot heads or tails,
Tails.
and eh.
And which one was tails?
He called it, and his suggestion is actually, I made both the suggestions, but I was thinking your suggestion was get help.
I don't think we assigned a thing to a thing.
Yeah, it's tails, so you win. So it's get help.
All right, let me bloody myself up real quick, and I'm gonna use Mask of 1,000 Faces to make myself look like.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a roll. Speaking of Mask of 1,000 Faces, Noah, are you going invisible or are you going human?
I'm going invisible,
Okay.
and I'm gonna use Cloak the Gathering for as many of us as I can.
Why?
Which would be 6 of us.
Yes, but why?
Oh, just so that we can all walk in as you're doing the get help.
Oh, because I think that requires both me and Walter, and then you're the only other one. Because Atris went off by herself, and then
Well, no, there's also there's also Henry.
I forgot we have all these NPCs.
There's also Henry and Bartleby, and then you didn't really give him any commands. So would Sonoy be coming with, or would Sonoy be staying with Asmodeus in the carriage?
Since I did not give him an order, well, he is off by himself. I did not give him an order to do anything, so he will stay by himself away from the carriage. Or
Okay.
like,
Yeah,
on
I
the
was like, I
outskirts.
bet he'd choose neither.
Yeah.
I forgot we have so many ghouls and
I can't make a
NPCs.
command that I wasn't
Right.
there for.
So then that means that so let's just write. I feel like we should write this down just so that way, because we're approaching 15 minutes until cutoff time. So let's write this down. Atris is obfuscated and silenced of death and heading out ahead.
Yes.
Leia is an owl on top of a watchtower.
Correct.
Team Invisible or Noah, PETA, Henry, and Bartleby. Asmodeus and Sonoy are A, protecting the carriage, and B, kind of acting as lookouts in case there's any external threats that need to be alerted.
That makes sense, yes.
And team Get Help or Walter and Liam.
Gotcha.
Got it.
I forgot we had so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting difficult.
Yes, I know. And somewhere, you guys have 3 other members of your team that are off on their own adventures.
It's a lot of shit going on.
So, there is a role for making yourself look bloody.
Yep, manipulation and leadership.
What?
Performance, manipulation, and performance. I'm sorry.
And see what the difficulty is 7 or is it standard?
It's 7, but I got 3 9s.
Okay, so that's
Shit, you want help? I can just punch you.
Too bloody, too bloodied.
If he's not going for a very specific person that they know, he could just change his appearance and be an unknown bloody person, which would lower the difficulty.
I mean, if I do that, I got 1 6, so that would just be 1 extra help. But yeah, I'm just trying to look like I'm haggard up.
Okay, let me just read this real quick, because it's that thing of you're not trying to look like a specific person, but you are going for a very specific look. So it kind of gets fuzzy.
Magic is weird.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It is.
That's why I tell people in my campaign.
Actually, as a matter of fact, interestingly enough, Noah, I'll let you go ahead and roll this. Go ahead and roll int plus occult, please.
Yep.
Difficulty is 9 though, but it might give you a little something.
But with 3 successes, it says I can look the way that I want to appear.
Cool. So do you look like prettier Liam DeCane, but bloody, or ugly Liam DeCane as bloody, or some rando and bloody?
Pretty Liam as bloody.
Okay. Any successes, Noah?
Nope, none.
Okay. Nothing comes to mind. Walter, yourself. You spent blood for blush of health, so you look alive.
I look vital.
Yes. And I'll say with the successes you rolled, Liam, you don't have to spend a blood for it. I'll assume that you included that of your skin not being deathly.
Oh, I have the merits.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Blush of health. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna, for the few minutes we have left, we're gonna go with Atris. I'm gonna share the screen one more time just so that way you get a better outlook of everything.
Someone screenshot it.
All right.
Hey,
so
I actually have. I could actually extend a half hour if the group would like to do that tonight.
I typically would, however, I have like 2 other things I have to do tonight, which are kind of time sensitive, so I might have to leave earlier. That would help.
And then we can stop at 9:30. It's fine.
yeah. If anything, it would actually be good to stop it before it gets into
combat
or anything that's gonna be-
infiltration.
yeah. So, but Atris, you start approaching as you start heading east further towards, you see the structure, so you know where it is.
Right.
Which direction, Atris, are you approaching it from? Are you approaching it straight on, from the left, from the right? Are you circling around and approaching from the ass?
From the back.
I feel like she'd probably give the building a quick pass around first just to see if there's any guards that you have to worry about on the outside, and then she'd probably pick a guard tower, probably in the front. We'll just say front left, and she'll pick that as the first one to start climbing up.
Okay. So I will say that you don't see Whale because he's a tiny little thing. You just assume that he's somewhere ahead of, Are you are you closely investigating, or is this just like a general glance pass over kind of thing?
In my search pattern for guards, it's just I am just looking just to see if there's anyone around. Just general pattern. I'm not looking, so like I'm not stopping to slow down or whatever. Like I
And how close do you get? About how far away from it?
Oh, I'd say within 15 feet.
Okay, then I would say give me a perception plus alertness, please. Normally it'd be a higher difficulty, but you notice that each of the guard towers actually has like a little oil lantern up there. You get so that way the guards have some light. So
yeah, 4 successes on that one.
Okay. At 4 successes, you do a pass around the place, and it is a relatively good sized structure. You're looking at this for not only are the walls at 20-25 feet tall, but it's a pretty wide and deep structure too. This is a decent sized, it's not huge, it's not the biggest you've ever seen, but it's a decent size it's a decent sized fort. And you're looking at the lumber that they use to make the outer wall, and you definitely get that is well constructed. These are thick tree logs that they use. They must have like got the lumber in, like this is definitely, this would take a lot kind of thing to try and like break down the door or something like that. As you do a look around, Wea's attention is definitely there. You definitely see that in each of the guard towers there is a single guard looking out, some more attentively than others. And sometimes it varies. Sometimes one guy's really attentive and then he kind of gets bored and kind of slumps back, or he's not really, and then he'll kind of like, and every so often you will notice, how long do you take about to, how long are you going to take on this? Hey, Tris?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure what you were asking. I'd say it should be fast with this, so she probably wouldn't want to draw longer than like 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay. I will say in that short time, you, besides the 4 people, you do see someone else who seemed to have popped up, and you kind of see the head moving between the spikes where they're walking along the catwalk, and every so often you don't stop and wait, but you see that they're actually going towards one of the towers and like talking to one of the guards in there. You cannot make out the conversation from this distance, as it is both 15 feet in front and about 15 feet above you, and they're not exactly shouting at each other.
Unless they're shouting, the conversation's irrelevant.
Yeah. You do hear harmonica playing inside. And you hear, not that you can make anything out distinctly, but you do hear some muffled conversation. I mean, this is a big structure. It's not like this is an overt thing. They don't care that people know that they're here, kind of thing. Which I'll say, give me a wits plus. This would either be streetwise, or I'll go ahead and say melee as kind of like a combat strategy kind of thing.
I'll take melee because that's a higher roll for me.
Okay.
2 successes on that one.
Okay. That's a good generic knowledge. You've been an assassin for many years now in training with the Bar Hakim. What the nature of the guards and what the structure itself tells you is, one, it is a pretty heavily fortified defense. Again, not the worst thing you've ever seen, but definitely this is a decent construction, and they know that they can be seen from a long ways off. This isn't some like hidden base that, you know, is hidden in the trees or in the mountainside or something like that. They don't care that people know that they're here, which to you shows an air of confidence. And in your experience, confidence means one of 3 things. They're either so confident that the defenses are good enough that no one's getting in the first place. They're confident that there's enough of them in there that should someone attack it, they could overwhelm the kind of numbers that they're expecting in this area. Or 3, they're stupid. So it's now any 3 of those are a potential, but it does let you know that they are feeling confident that this is a strong, defensible position that has been outfitted to handle whatever they feel would normally come to. Now you get the idea that if the lupines do strike out in numbers, this place is toast. Like this place will not withstand a lupine attack. Even a small number of them, like 2 or 3 lupines, could probably destroy this place. Unless there is a secret, Inquisition member or something like that in here. But as far as against just normal people, this is a pretty well fortified location.
Got it.
And that's what you get from your ascertaining of the surrounding perimeter.
All right, well, that's enough to start. With that knowledge, she would be, of course, waiting for any opening within, people, the guards walking on the catwalk, and then she would probably try to climb up there whenever, nobody's, obviously she's cloaked and, silence, but,
what method are you using to try and climb? Because I will say these are straight up vertical wooden pillars that go about 20 feet up.
So I guess she'd be looking for anything she could just simply grasp onto first, just to see if she can do that.
Okay. This is going to be a perception plus investigation roll, because this you're looking for something specific.
I'm good at perceptivating. 1, 2, 3. All right, we got 3 successes on that one.
Okay. There's little like knots in there that like maybe you could kind of try and park her a bit, but it seems to be that the whole point of this structure is that it isn't easily scalable.
Right.
And again, unless you start having some, it's one of those things of, it's still one of those things of the average person, even well-trained, can only jump so high, and it's purposely designed to not have foot or handholds on it, so that way it's not.
Wait, you mean it's like a fort?
It's like a fort. So I will say that Atris, well, I'll say for your common sense for the night, since the night's almost over, so it doesn't matter if you use it.
Right.
You could try just a straight, Dex athletics to try and get up there. It's going to be extremely difficult to, especially without breaking obfuscate, unless you start thinking of a way to use a tool or something that's going to help you scale this fortress wall.
Now, I don't know if balance would be involved in this. Would cat-like balance lower the difficulty at all if she were going to attempt to scale the wall straight up?
Not really. It would definitely be like if you're running along the rooftops or like along the catwalk. But at this point, this is just straight like trying to parkour your way up here.
Okay.
So cat-like balance would more be helping you be graceful once you get up there.
And unless I don't know if this would be the same as her perception awareness from earlier. There is no in her search pattern around the fort. There weren't any other indicators of climbing areas.
No, I'll say if you want to take more time to do a thorough investigation of the entire perimeter, but from what you're just seeing from the basic structure, it is a fort. So the whole point of it is to not really be easy to scale unless you have a implement to help you do it. Now, again, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying logic would dictate that that it would be very difficult.
Right. Yeah. So part of since she's got a few moments, she does want to see, just give an exploration glance around the exterior just to see if there's anything that looks like it could either be leaped upon, parkour, climbed, anything whatsoever around the walls.
Okay. I'm going to have you make one more perception plus investigation roll. The DC is now a little bit higher because it's the second time doing it. So I'm going to say this is going to be difficulty 8, where you're trying to find anything.
The roll to 10, so let's see what that turns into. I got 3 successes on that one.
Okay. At 3 successes, you look along, I would say what would be the right hand, if you're looking straight on at it where the door is, if you go to the right and go around the right corner of it, as you're glancing around, you normally would have missed it, but your keen eyes are looking and you see a arrow sticking out of, and as you're looking at the wall, you definitely see where you see things that could definitely be old bullet holes in the wall, and a couple of what looks like a couple of arrows that landed in the wall. Most of them look like over time or whatever have snapped off, but there's one that's still kind of sticking in the side about 6 feet up. Sorry, not 6 feet, about 10 feet up. So about halfway up the thing. Probably just a misfired arrow or one that didn't quite hit the mark. You potentially could reach up and grab it and see if that, but it all depends on, it's hard to tell just at a glance on how well it's stuck in there, how much it's going to support your weight. But that's what the only thing you see that's anything other than smooth wood going 20 feet up in any direction.
Okay. In that case, she will want to attempt to ascend that location when she could see the guards are far away. Presumably, we're like, can she?
Because it's about right here where you are. And so it would be easy enough to make sure that there's not someone walking along the catwalk. You know that these guys are looking out from where they are, kind of thing. But it's easy enough to wait for an opening.
Her thought process is mostly just making sure that her silence of death doesn't intersect someone that's passing by and they notice a silence before they're supposed to.
Okay. So you're gonna, I'd say it's easy enough to wait for that said opening.
Got it. And then at the opening, she will attempt to ascend.
Okay. This is going to be Dex Athletics. Difficulty is 9 because again, you are trying to, with the help of only this arrow, scale a 20-foot wall.
I will go ahead and use 2 willpower just to go again. It guarantees those successes.
Okay.
Okay. So Sean,
Yes.
just because I'm reading it, cat-like balance actually says that it reduces the difficulty to all Dex Athletics rolls.
Okay.
There were a few of these like merits and specialties that we took like certain narrower views on because of the way that they were blanket applicable in ways that like we can't use them in reality or whatever, particularly because we're like in the past from modern day. I don't know if that was what happened with cat-like balance with Atris, but there was definitely some conversation around that a long time ago.
How many successes there? Just let's first see how you do.
So, with the dice roll, I only got 1 more success. So with the willpower, that's a total of 3 successes.
Okay. Then I'll say with that, you go and you kind of get yourself a good 5 feet back, and you do a running jump as you leap. Foot hits the wall and you kind of kick up as you kind of do a little bit of a wall run. You grab onto the arrow and hoist yourself as it snaps from the motion, but it's enough of where the arrow head is in there, where the tip of your shoe is able to at least have something, and you hold on, and through sheer force of will, you jump up. And I'll say with 3 successes, you manage to, and you are not over the wall, but you are holding on to one of the spiked tops of one of the pillars, and you're holding on there. Luckily, with your Death of Silence, the sound of the arrow being broken did not make any sound to alert the guards. I'm gonna say that that's where we're going to end things tonight. I will say, Wea, you did see. No, you didn't, because she was obfuscated. So Wea, you saw none of this. None of this was observed by you.
I see no evil.
Yes, you see no.
Or hear it.
Yes, see
Yeah.
no waitress, hear no waitress.
No interest.
Speak no waitress. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to end for tonight. I'll leave everything here so that way we will pick up next week with the infiltration of this fort.
The murder most foul.
The infiltration.
Ha! So, everyone at home, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with us. If you're liking what you're seeing, please like and subscribe below. Feel free to comment, ask questions. We usually are pretty good about giving our responses or feedback. We are still in the process of working out in-person games with everyone except for Lyman, who is unfortunately out of state, but he will continue to be part of this.
I mean, he could always move back.
You know,
Fly back.
obviously. But we are definitely not losing him. We will see when we get back our wonderful Toreador to join us once more, once she's able to. And anything besides that, we are still working, right, guys, on our character background video.
Oh yeah, working
the
so
thing we've been
hard.
working really hard on.
So
Tell
hard.
the internet.
Tell the
My-
internet. Yes.
My homework is done. So
Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Until we see you next week, keep your fangs and your wit sharp, and we'll see you next time on Tumbleweeds and Tombstones.
Mm.